We're going to get started on time and we're going to end on time. So with that, I want to welcome all of you to the inaugural Women's Leadership Forum Purse Pitch Competition and Workshop. So let us give all of ourselves a round of applause for just being here at this what is it? What time? 7:03 hour. Okay, let's give ourselves a round of applause for being here. So some of us said we haven't had dinner and would love to have dinner at this hour, but we are dedicated to our entrepreneurship venture and we're going to spend our time wisely. And so with that, I'm going to honor the time and I'm going to move forward. So who am I? My name is Colette Coakley, and it's pronounced Coakley is the last name. That was a name that I married into. It's pronounced Coakley, right? And I'm the Vice President of Human Resources for Maryland Public Television, affectionately known as MPT. And I'm also the founder of the Women's Leadership Forum. And I am so excited that you all are here today, participating in this inaugural event. For those of you who showed up, I can only say that you are getting the benefit of great expertise. And we're going to kick it off with a bang. We have to be together for the next 8 weeks. And with that, you will gain knowledge rapidly. And so I will say, be ready. We will learn more about you, your wants, your needs during this time. And our experts will give you the benefit of their wisdom to help propel you forward in your business, whether you're starting up, whether you have an idea, whether you're in mid-phase, or whether you are seasoned in what it is that you plan to venture. So are you ready? And if you're ready, okay, I want you to use, as I was told, the emoji chat and use the hand raise just to let me know that you're ready. Okay, got a thumbs up, got a hand up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Somebody says thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. I got somebody tooting the horn. Okay. Miss Rice, you with me? Okay. Okay. I'm missing a couple of hands. Okay. Does everybody know how to use the emoji? Okay. Everybody might not know. I'm still missing a couple of hands. All right, well, we're going to go on anyway. And for those who don't know, we want you to know, because guess what? This is how you're going to ask a question through raising your hand with the emoji chat feature. Okay, so if you don't know, you could chat with me personally and we can get you into the know, because guess what? This is all about a learning experience where we want, there are questions. There will be questions. I always have the debate whether they're bad questions. I'm just going to say there are questions. And so if you have questions, this is going to be the safe space for asking that question, and we're going to get it answered for you. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Chloe, and I'm going to, and then Chloe will pitch it back to me. So Chloe, take it away.
Thank you, Colette. And hello, everybody. I'm so happy to see all of you here. And I'm so happy that you're ready to accelerate your business. I know that I met a couple of you yesterday, so I'm happy to see that you're here. And for those that I have not met, my name is Chloe Johnson. I'm the human resources specialist for Maryland Public Television. And I'm also going to be your technical coordinator for the workshops. So these workshops will start and end on time. I promise you, we want to get you out in an hour and a half. Each workshop is going to start at 7 p.m. until 8:30, and there will be an opportunity for a break at 7:45 if you need it. There's also going to be a Q&A, so you can get all those questions and answers out as needed at 8:20. And I'll leave out just a reminder to get you guys braced and ready for that. So, like I said, this workshop is going to be in and out. We want it to be interactive and engaging, informative. So please sit back, relax, and take all the keys to get your company from vision to success in 1, 2, 3. I'm really excited to see you all here, like I said. And for those that I met yesterday, I'm very, very excited to see you. And let's go ahead and pass the baton back to Colette so we can bring in our lead speaker, Valari.
All right. So tonight we have Miss Valari Jackson. Miss Valari Jackson, and I'm so excited that she's here with us today because Valari is a world-renowned speaker, and we are so fortunate to have her. I don't know if you all know or have looked her up, but it's priceless that we have her here today, and so I'm glad that she's here for you. So she's a speaker, she's a certified life coach, she's a business strategist, an advisor, and the founder of Fierce Focus Strategies. We are fortunate enough to have her here today. I'm happy that she is kicking us off. And with that, I'm going to now pass the baton to Valari, who will lead us forward as we learn more about being entrepreneurs and what it takes.
Well, thank you so much, Colette. Thank you, Chloe. I am excited to be with you this evening. Ladies, we've got a little less than an hour and a half. You want to know about what it is that can help your business be successful, which means we got to get running. So the first thing I want you to do is grab notepad, get a lot of paper, because we're going to be doing some writing tonight. It's a workshop, right? So that means we're going to be working together. All right. So just so I know who's here, because I know who we were expecting, and I want to see who showed up, give me in the chat how long you have been in business. Now, if you're just starting, just put just starting. But I want to be sure to tailor our conversation to who we have. All right, so I've got, let's see, 5 years, 3 years, just starting, 2 years, 5 years. Okay, we've got a nice cross section. A lot of you just starting. Wonderful, wonderful. A newbie. Okay, a little over a year. All right, wonderful. So I've got a series of questions for you, and we're going to write these down, the answers down, because you're going to come back to this. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, why did you start your business? Why did you start your business? Or why are you going to start a business? And write that answer down, because you should know that succinctly. You should be able to articulate why you started this business. And as you do that, now I'm going to ask you to go on a little adventure with me. We're going to do this a couple of times tonight. So I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. And we're all going to teleport ourselves to March 26, 2022. Now, Colette probably already knows what happens March 26, 2022. I don't know if the rest of you do, but your eyes are closed. We're there. March 26, 2022. We are at a gala. So you are sharp. You're ready to go. If we're there in person, if not, I'll just get dressed up over here by myself, but we're there at the gala. And this is the award ceremony for this pitch competition. And here we are. You are standing in front because you have won the pitch competition. So congratulations to you. And you've been handed $1,000. Now, my next question for you is, thank you. Yes, you've got your $1,000. Question number 2 for you. What are you doing with that money? Write that down. What is your intention right now for that $1,000 that you got? No wrong answers, just, you've got to have an intention, right? If you're going to receive something, if you can visualize it, you need to visualize where it's going. I would love to see, after you've written it down for yourself, pop it in the chat. What are some of the ideas of what are you going to do with that money? That's kind of the point, right? You've got great coaching that you're going to get, furniture, okay, and education. All right, that's wonderful. What else? Let's see some. Okay, you're going to make a business entity. Great. Put into a scholarship fund. Okay. Business equipment. Yes. These are the types of answers I see. Book inventory, marketing, help someone else get started. I love it. Oh, somebody's going to split the money. Okay, got it. Put into efforts. Let's see. Online course development. All right. A lot of you already know. Had you thought about this before? What you were going to do with this money before I ask you? You had. Okay, wonderful. Fantastic. I love it. My goal tonight is to, at the end of our conversation, when I ask you that question again, have you possibly reconsider? Not that your answers aren't great, because they are, but I want to see if maybe when you understand the pillars of a business and what you should be investing in, you might reprioritize some things and think about putting that money somewhere else. Okay, so let's dive in. I ask you why you started a business. Anybody want to share those reasons? And I'm going to have you unmute, because this is a conversation. This is going to work best if we talk to each other. So anybody, I see hands raised, and I know we had them raised before, so do me a favor. Everyone lower your hands. And so you hit the same button that you did before to get your hands lowered. And so all those hands go down. And if your hands are still up, I'm gonna call on you. Okay. And then if you want to share, quick sentence, why you started your business. One sentence, why you started your business. Go ahead and raise your hand. And the first one I see, I'm gonna call on. First raise hands, Regina. I see you over there. Thank you, ma'am. Please.
Good evening.
Welcome.
Welcome. Good evening, everyone. I started my business to make a difference one child at a time.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Regina. Thank you for sharing that. That is a very noble reason to start a business. One more. Shelly, your hand is up.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome.
Thank you. I started my business to help women to know their worth and value so they can be confident to accomplish their goals, vision, purpose, or calling.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I love this. These are those heart-centered reasons. Neither of you has said anything about money. but okay, I'm gonna challenge that. Dr. Blair Price, we'll call on you.
Good evening, everyone. I started the business to empower women leaders to reignite their why.
Love it, love it. And I'm gonna do one more. Nick Sweeney, thank you.
It's me and a mute button.
Hi.
But I started my business so that women no longer have to die because they can't afford to live.
I love it. I love it. So what we've heard from these women, and I'm sure all of you have similar reasons, very valuable and heartfelt reasons why you started a business. And where I respect all those reasons, and that's my question, Erica. Are you all nonprofits? Are any, okay, so Shelly, now you're gonna see this is gonna be this kind of a workshop, all right? I'm calling on you. You're not a nonprofit. And when I said something about money, you look like, nah, maybe not. So I can understand why the guiding reason for a nonprofit to start a business was not based in money. Okay. But what about you for-profit businesses? What are you all doing? Anybody else want to share a reason that they started a business that might have something to do with money? Anne, let's hear from you.
One of my motivations when you're bringing up money, which isn't the only one, I have all the heartfelt and then other practical, but I started learning very late in life just the realities of women and finances. We don't, even if we're earning the same as men, we're not making the same worth because we never learned how to invest. Obviously, we all know we don't make equal pay. And then I'm single, and I believe in not planning for anything else until it happens. And so when you look at single women, especially long-term retirement, and so having started my career later in life and been in school for a while, I realized that staying with the company and slowly, getting 5% raises was going to be very hard for me to have a quality of life and feel like on my own, be able to have a comfortable retirement where I'd be able to pay for medical care. And if, I'm single, there's going to be other things. So I realized that in our own business, we can keep the money that we're earning, where when we're making it for somebody else, they're getting it all.
There you go. All righty. Thank you for sharing that. Absolutely. Even a nonprofit has expenses. I know that you're often funded by donations, but if you align money and purpose together, the next statement that I'm going to share with you, and it is a definition of the foundation of business, should be a guiding principle for you from today forward. So it's a long statement. Well, it's not a very long statement, but I want you to write it down verbatim. I'm going to repeat it several times. The reason why I don't put it up on a slide is because you think you've got it. I want you to write it. I want you to make that connection to the brain. So here it is. It's the foundation of business. And this is truly the only reason why a business should exist. I know that's a bold statement, but particularly if you're a for-profit business, this is the only reason why you should exist. It is to solve, I'm going to read it through the first time and then I have to break it down for you. It is to solve a tangible problem for a specific group of people who have the money to pay you and the time and urgency to solve the problem. Now I'm going to read it again to you, and I'll break it down so you can write it down. It's to solve a tangible problem. Everybody with me? To solve a tangible problem for a specific group of people. Don't miss that specific group. Nonprofits, same thing. Who have the money to pay you and the time and urgency to solve the problem. Do I need to say it again for anyone? Anyone need me to repeat that?
Valerie, Isis, I think that's her name, has her hand raised.
Okay, thank you. She went off my screen. Isis, feel free to unmute and let's address your question.
Hello, I actually don't have a question. It was when you asked about other business owners, why they started their business.
Okay,
I wanted to respond. So if that's still
please
open, I don't
do.
mind responding.
No, we want to hear it.
So I work in holistic health. I'm a massage therapist currently, and I work in holistic health within my personal life, but it's all so that I can create a business that relates to what I do. So I was licensed in February, and then I worked in other people's studios, and the money was great working under other people, but the quality of service, I could see myself having my own quality of service. And this isn't an insult to them, but
Yes.
I had my own vision because I got my license in massage therapy because of my own vision.
Yes.
So when the opportunity actually came to me to start renting at my own studio, I never thought of it until it came to me. And I'm like, oh, I can do what I was already doing at other people's studio, but put my own twist on it.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that is why I wanted to have my own business, so I can provide my own depths of holistic health, because it means so much to me. It's not just about the business, but so I can provide that to people.
Sure. Absolutely. I appreciate you sharing that. Thank you. So
Thank
you have touched on something we're going to talk about in our time together this evening. And we're going to get to that part. But here's what it is. As a business coach, you can imagine that I am asked regularly from clients about helping them with their business. Here's the problems in my business. 99% of the problems that we address are addressed in that statement I just gave you. So one more time, it's to solve a tangible problem for a specific group of people who have the money to pay you and have the time and urgency to solve the problem. Because see, if any of those elements are missing, you don't have truly a viable business. So let's talk about some of those obstacles as they relate to these things. I was asked tonight to address what can trip you up? What happens in business? Why do businesses sometimes fail? Here's reason number one, is because you're not clear on why you're in business or who you serve. Now you're going to hear that probably repeatedly throughout this whole workshop session for all 8 weeks, because that is a big issue for people, is we're not clear on why we're in business and who we serve. And what does that mean? Remember that tangible problem and the specific group of people? We look too broadly to help everyone, which means that we really are of use to no one. If people don't understand that you see them specifically, they don't know that you have the expertise to help them. So let me tell you what this looks like. How many of you have ever used a travel agent? Anybody ever used a travel agent for travel? Just kind of, all right. So some of you have used travel agents. What would you rather have? Would you rather have a travel agent that you call and you say, I want to go to Egypt, never been. And the travel agent says, great, yep, I know how to get you a flight. I can book the flight there. I've got maps. I can tell you, according to these maps, where there's a good, where restaurants are, or how to navigate around. Never been, but yeah, I've got all the information. That's the travel agent. When you're specific as to who you serve and how you serve them, you're not the travel agent, you're the tour guide. Now, here's what the tour guide looks like. These are boots on the ground. They've been there. They can tell you when you get to the airport, you're going to go outside to the sidewalk and you're going to call ABC cab. Don't call 123 cab. They don't know what they're doing. They charge you more. They're going to take you to the wrong place. Call ABC. When you get there, go to Miss Emily's to eat. Now sit in the back because that's where you're going to see all the best sightseeing. And she knows that if you're sitting in the back, someone told you she's going to give you extra food. That's the tour guide. When you're specific about who it is you serve, you show up as the tour guide. Does anyone not follow me with that? When you're a tour guide, you can charge more. You are specialized. Does that make sense to you? Okay. Let's go to the next reason why sometimes businesses fail. Now we're clear on why it's so important to know who you serve, being a tour guide, trying to manage time. How many of you are good time managers? Let's see, and let me warn you, this is a trick question. Before you jump in, I am. You can't manage time. You can only manage energy. Because see, here's the thing. Has anyone figured out how to get more than 24 hours in a day? And if so, I need to talk to you. Anybody? Okay, so what happens? You get up in the morning and time starts, right? In fact, it's already started before you've gotten up. Is that right? Time has already started going. Can you manage that? It's going to happen. If you sit and do nothing, time's still going. If you're busy like crazy, time's still going. All you can do is manage your energy so that you are intentional about what gets done in the time. And I will tell you that one of the biggest challenges for business owners is how to manage that energy, because we have the scatter syndrome going on. We're not sure what to do. We know it's a whole bunch of stuff that needs to get done because we're running a business, but we're not really sure where to spend our time. The way you get around that is having a clear set of goals, standards, benchmarks, and processes. And we're going to break that down for you. You need goals, standards, benchmarks, and processes. And what you're going to do with those goals, standards, benchmarks, and processes is you're going to sit down and you're going to plan your year based on your big goals. What do you want to accomplish? A benchmark is how are you going to measure if you've accomplished it? The standards are how well will you do it? And then the process is how you're going to get it done. See, this is business planning done a little differently. But let me just take a second and tell you why it is I could speak with such authority. Because what I didn't share with you when we started, and some of you may have been wondering, is what does she know about business? How does she know about business? Is she even, we told her how long we've been in business. What has she been doing? I have been in business as a business owner for 27 years. Now that's maybe longer than some of you have been alive. Here's what I've done in those 27 years. I have messed up a whole lot, okay? A whole lot. I've also learned a few things. And what we've already talked about are some of those things that I've messed up on and I learned about. And yes, transparency, that is me. Sometimes a little too. I will try to use filters, okay, so it doesn't get uncomfortable. But here's the thing, when we don't understand what the whole goal is, how we're going to get there, how we're going to know if we got there, and to what level of expertise we're going to do it, we waste a lot of time chasing other things. We're going to be chasing other people's agendas, because how many of you have already experienced that if you shared with other people that you're in business, going in business, starting a business, have been in business, don't people share with you what to do? And how many of those people are running successful businesses? And we're now hitting on reason number 3, why businesses fail and why you have a tough time with business is you haven't developed the right tribe. Now, no disrespect to spouses, parents, well-meaning friends, but if they're not running a successful business, they really don't get it. They can't help you. They're waiting for you to just quit playing and get a job. Right? Yes, I see the nods, because I'm telling you, this is what happens when you don't have the right tribe. So what does the tribe look like that you should have? You need a few things. The one thing you don't need is an accountability partner. Now, I know this is just blowing you away. You're like, what? Why? The only person that can hold you accountable is yourself. That is it. We're grown-ups. We show up. If you're not going to do it, truly, it doesn't impact anyone except you. So don't look for an accountability partner. I know that's different than what you've heard, but let me tell you why. Let me tell you what you do need. You need an advocate. See, the difference in the accountability partner and the advocate, the accountability partner, if you say, you know what, I'm gonna try to make sure I get these things done, and they say, okay, great, and then you don't get them done, they go on about what they're doing. The advocate says, hold up a second. I don't know, Janet. You told me that you had these goals to reach, and I see you hanging out with me every day. So we're not getting there. What's going on? That's the advocate. Now, sometimes that's in the form of another business owner, and they don't even have to be in the same type of business that you're in. Often, and the best times, it's in the form of a coach. Because the coach is that tour guide. They run a business. Now, they may not have run your business, but they know business. They know when you're giving them excuses as to getting things done or reaching your goals. And they're going to help you navigate to be able to get things done according to your standards. That's why you need an advocate and not an accountability partner. Does that change anyone's thinking? Because I know we're always told, get an accountability partner, get an accountability partner. No, no, no. I've had accountability partners. I've been standing out alone all by myself. And yes, 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 Erica M. Roberts, choose the right coach. Now, what does that look like? So I have experience in a service-based industry. My background is I am an aerospace engineer, and I got bored. If you can believe that, yes, aerospace engineering can get bored. I started in a business in real estate, and I was a very successful real estate broker, managing broker for 20 years. I had something unheard of in real estate, which is a waiting list. I had people waiting to work with me. Now that's because of some of the standards and processes and benchmarks that I put into place. And as I worked in real estate, I had other people come to me and say, hey, can you show me how you're doing what you've done? How have you been successful? Yes, I can. I can show pretty much anybody in a sales position, in a service-based industry, how to conduct a very successful business. I know where the pitfalls are. Remember, I'm the tour guide. What I cannot do and what I do not do well is show a woman in a career how to up-level that career. Now, I mean, there's, reasonable parts to that, but that's not my expertise. So when you look for someone to be an advocate for you, someone who's going to help you move forward, they're going to be the person who gets you unstuck when you get stuck. Make sure you're working with someone or you're looking for someone who can help you do what you do. Tour guide, not travel agent. Did I lose anybody? How are we doing? Okay, awesome. Shelly, this is exactly what you teach. Perfect. See, the issue is, yes.
Questions that are in the chat.
Okay.
I don't know if they want to open up, but Shelly had a question.
All right, please ask your question, Shelly. I'm sorry if I missed them.
It's okay, you were on a roll.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wanted to know, I think a lot of times it's a little confusing to figure out what and you mentioned a tangible problem. So the word tangible to me is, I'm a little conflicted on what it means. So if you could help me to understand what a tangible problem would be in the realm of coaching, that will be helpful, because I'm also a graphic designer, so I understand tangible in that way where I give deliverables and things of that sort. But for coaching, what is a tangible problem?
Okay, thank you for asking that question.
Thank you.
So certainly. So I'll give you an example of some of the people I coach. One of the things people come to me for is getting things done. Very simply, implementation. So that's the tangible problem. They think that they need to manage time, but as we all know now, they can't do that. So sometimes your customers and clients will come to you for a problem and they think it's one thing, but as long as you understand what the tangible relative is to that problem they think they have, and it is something that you solve, then this could be a good fit. Does that make sense? Okay, all right. While we're on that subject, let me share something with you. And I'll take everybody to my little board, but over here I have a glass board. And I have a coach, by the way, because I believe everybody should. And my coach made me do this. Now, this is a beat up little document because I use it all the time. But what is on here, the title of this is My Perfect Client Profile. And I have 20 points for my perfect client. Not a decent client, not a okay client, not a good client, my perfect client. I have designed the person that I work with. And I'm going to challenge each of you when we come back to do the same. Now, I know you may not be able to get 20 points, but we're going to work together and get at least 3. Because when you have this helps you understand that specific group that we talked about. Make sense? Because when we're all over the place, like I said, if you're trying to help everybody, you can help no one. Because here's the thing about when it feels like, thank you so much for that reminder. It feels like everybody's coming to you, right? If you've been in business, it's, well, I have to help them all because they're all coming to me and I need to help everybody. But here's the truth of the truth. It's not everybody. It's just everybody like you. You're drawing a certain type of person to you. And if you're not clear on who it is you are and who you represent, you are kind of drawing all over the board. So the more specific you can be, the more specific who you draw to you will be. You will draw the people who you're supposed to help. So we're going to take a break in just a couple of minutes. I'm going to tell you a real quick story. Something we're going to think about while we're on this break. During my time in real estate, I was part of a coaching company actually that coached me and several other real estate agents, I mean, thousands. And we would go to these events, and there was one particular event we were at, the success event, and there were about 2,000 of us in this huge auditorium, and we were going on a break. And because people trickle back in from break late, especially when you have 2,000 of them, and you know what it's like when you're trying to get to the restroom, they would started this thing where they played the song. They played James Brown, I Feel Good. And when you heard I Feel Good, you knew, and wherever you were, you had to start getting back to your seat, because by the time that song ended, if you were not in your seat, they would bring you up on stage and make you sing. So in front of those 2,000 people. Well, now if you're like comfortable with it like me, it's no big deal. But if you don't want to do that, you do not want to be brought up on stage. So there we were, and people are milling about. James Brown is singing, and he's like, so good, I got you. And you know it's about to happen, right? So this woman comes running in, and she's like, oh, no, you won't. You won't make me sing on stage. Well, unfortunately, she rushed out of the restroom, and the camera caught her as she was going by. So up on the big Jumbotron there was this woman who at that time had her skirt still stuck in the back. As we take our break, I'm going to have you consider our next topic, which is blind spots. I'll see you in 5 minutes.
Thank you, Valerie. So
All right.
Don't let your skirt be tucked in the back. Okay. We will be back in 5 minutes, right? Is that right, Chloe? Okay. So we'll be back in 5 minutes, and we'll see you back here. Isis had a question that's in the chat, Valerie.
Okay.
So if we could, it was about benchmarking.
All righty. I will find that, and we will address that as soon as everybody gets back. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. And while I'm here, since I'm not taking a break, if anybody has a question they want to ask, any clarification or something, I am here and happy to address it. Because as you can tell, this time is going to go by quickly tonight, and there's a lot to talk about. Let me see. I have not found Isis' question.
She asked what was benchmarked.
Ah, thank you. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? I'm going to wait till everybody comes back, and then we'll talk about that, because that's important. So thank you so much. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Colette, was there something you wanted to address as we start again, or should I just jump back in?
After that story, you go right on ahead. I'm just praying that my shirt is tucked in and my skirt is pulled down. Okay.
Right.
Right spot. Okay.
There we go. There is the gift of Zoom, right? Nobody knows. Trust me, some of this stuff you can't make it up. I'm telling you. Okay, so I want to address a very good question from Isis, and that was to elaborate on what a benchmark is. So in order to do that, I will also explain my definition of what a standard is because they work in tandem. So, and Isis, let me see, where'd you go? Oh, there you are. Okay, massage therapy. So let me use your business as an example. So let's say that you've started this. You've already started your business. You wanted to go out on your own because you had a certain standard of care that you wanted to make sure that your clients received. It was a certain experience that you want them to have. And maybe that standard is that they are experiencing ease of pain. So maybe you want a 5% ease in whatever their pain is, if you can measure that, right? Or let's say maybe there's something like, let's tie it to productivity, because that's an even clearer one that's going to live for everyone else. Let's say that in your business, in order to make your bills, everything else, because remember there's money tied to this business, you need to be able to see 7 massage clients a day. Okay, so that's your standard. You got to see 7. In order to get a larger office, you have to reach 50 within the month. So your standard is 7 a day. Your first benchmark is 50. So at 50, you've reached a goal. Then maybe the next one is to reach 60 because there's something tied to that. Does that make sense for you? So the standard is what you do all the time. The benchmark is how you measure your growth. Does anyone else need a better explanation for that? Okay. All right, you're good. Thank you. Wonderful. Okay, so here we were with our skirts tucked in our pantyhose, and we realized it's a blind spot. How many of you have seen somebody with a situation similar to that? And I have a follow-up question for that. When you've noticed it, how many people had they already walked past that didn't say anything? Right? You're like, I know those other people saw that. Now they're over here with me. I have to say something because it, just wouldn't be right to not say anything. That's that advocacy situation. Your advocate is going to tell you when your skirt is tucked in your pantyhose. The reason why, again, it is so important to have someone that's that tour guide is because not only are they going to tell you that that's happening, but now you need someone to help you figure out what to do about it. There are a couple of main areas that I see people who are in business going along thinking everything is okay, and I have to come out with a flashlight and shine on their blind spot. One of them is they don't know why they're successful. You have no idea why you had a good month. The danger of that is you can't do it again if you try. It's just a happy accident. It's like, whoa, that was awesome. Yep, did it. A blind spot in business is not having procedures and processes so that you can duplicate your results. And the only way to duplicate the results is to duplicate the activities. And if you don't truly know what the activities are that got you there, you can see where this is going, right? So that's a big blind spot for people. That's usually one of the biggest ones. Here's another. Not understanding why your clients and customers work with you. Now I'm going to call on somebody really smart. On first hand I see go up. How can you find out why your clients and customers work with you? Okay, Shelly, I saw you go up first. Oh,
Ask them.
thank you. That's it. Ask. You have to have within your procedures and standards and policies a way that captures the client's experience so that they can tell you why they worked with you, what might have gone wrong, which is why a lot of people don't ask because they're concerned about what might have gone wrong. But if they don't tell you what wrong, who are they telling? Everybody else. So it's best to find out from them if something went wrong, what was their experience, so that you can duplicate a good experience, maybe address something that didn't go well. But if you have a blind spot to the service of your clients and customers, you are going to have a business that will not be sustainable. So I love Colette's question, do I have a blind spot? Absolutely, we all do. And of course, I couldn't find it myself. My blind spots are always centered around giving away too much. Always. Yes, yes. Anybody else? Yes, yes. Always. So I have a wonderful tribe. Some of them are here tonight that can say to me, you can pull back on that because that's not something you can give away. See, remember I said I work with service-based businesses? The reason why is because when you're selling chicken dinners, and no disrespect, because folks like chicken dinner, but if you give them all away, you watch them all walk out the door. It's very clear that all of your assets have left. You have nothing left to sell. You gave it away. But when you're in a service-based business, you give away a lot and you don't realize that you're giving it away. Which comes to the next obstacle, is you don't understand your value. That's the next one. You don't understand your value. Now, how do you figure out what your value is? Any ideas on that? Let me see if anybody has some ideas on how in the world do we know what our value is? I don't see, oh, I see a hand, Dr. Paula Langford. Nice to have you with us. How do you know what your value is?
I know my value because something that goes back to what you said earlier about raising prices. So I am a service provider, mental health service provider. I have to take so much training and getting CEUs. And so I have specialty areas. And so I know that I invested a lot in those trainings and certifications. So the value of what I'm doing causes my price to go up, right? My service price to go up. So I know my value because of the energy that I put into it and the money that I invest. Yeah, the money that I invest, because I want my clients to be successful. So if I'm going to put the energy into learning those modalities, then I want them to have the best. And so that's how I recognize my own value.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. I'm going to challenge something with you, if I may, because I think You've got the bandwidth to accept it. I just have this feeling.
I'm ready for you.
Okay.
I'm ready.
How much money you invest in training
Mhm.
does not necessarily denote what your value is. It's what you've done with it. See, it's because you said that later. You said because this is how I show up for them. But just because we spend a lot of money on training and webinars and not that yours were webinars, but whatever they are, certifications, even degrees, does not mean that we are really good or excel at what we do. Now, I'm sure you do.
No,
Does it
you
make
are
sense?
absolutely correct. And that's
Okay.
why I said once I put because I'm putting the energy into
That's
getting
it.
that
Yes.
to be able to service the community, then that's why I know. And because I see so many people coming, then I see the value in what it is that I'm doing. So that's why I kind of connected the two.
You
You're
gotta connect
absolutely
it all together. Thank you, thank you. I just want to bring that out though, because some people feel like as long as they're bleeding money, they're creating value. And you're not. You're not creating value for the people who you serve. Thank you. Absolutely. Knowing the results that your clients and customers will get, that's the value. And they show you by coming back. I saw that in the chat. Someone says, yes, they come back. Not only that, remember that waiting list I had? So here's some more aha moments for you. In my real estate days, which was not all that long ago, when everybody had these big email lists of, at that time, 2,000 people, 3,000, they were all excited about that. You know how many people I had in my database? And never more than this. And I started cutting if I got more, 150. 150, that was it. Once I got to 151, I'm like, whoa, somebody's got to go. I don't know what's going on. Because I knew I did not have the bandwidth to serve my database, which was not a mailing list, but that was my list of relationships. So these are the people that I knew. And the way I served them, my standard of service was to have the relationships go deep and not broad. Now, I'm not saying that you should not do marketing and social media and anything like that, but I knew for my business, the way I was going to handle it. And in order to do that, I could only have so many people. It worked well because I didn't have to do any advertising. Shelly, you have a question.
I was just going to respond to what you were saying or asking earlier, and I think you already covered it about the results. I think one of the ways that you really understand what your value is the results that you get for your clients.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, thank you, thank you. So true, so
Thank
true.
you.
Did I miss any other questions? I'm looking for any other I don't see any other raised hands. You all are on a couple different screens. T, hello. You've been quiet this evening. Good to hear from you. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So I just had a quick question. My mother tends to be my accountability partner, and she says you can't give free stuff away. And I view it as showing appreciation to my customers. So I was wondering if you can kind of elaborate on how you find that happy balance between showing appreciation and not giving away the assets.
Absolutely. Wonderful question, T. I'll tell you how I did it in the real estate business. I can tell you how I do it in coaching as well. I did reward my clients all the time, but it looked like this. Number one, my top refers knew they were because they were called my VIPs. Anything that I sent out, newsletters, whatever, highlighted this month's VIP. People like status. They enjoy that. It's why, we want to get on the airplane first, right? We want the extra points towards the burrito, whatever it is. We like status. So when you give people status, it means something. It does not always have to convey to money. You're showing them that you appreciate them that way. The other thing I did is I did spend money on them because Once a year, I did a huge event. So one of the last events I did before I retired from real estate is I threw a big barbecue and rented out the baseball stadium. So that was huge, right? It's big deal. I did it once a year. I didn't do that kind of thing all the time. But throughout the year, my top referrers, we were going to dinner. We had VIP events. And what people wanted to know is, how do I get to go to these events? I want to be a VIP. You know, when everybody else is getting on the plane and you're in the C group for boarding, you want to know what happened. Now I got to sit in the middle. I want to be special. So that's a really good way to not give away things and still make people feel special and feel appreciated. And then if you have something special once a year, twice a year, whatever it is that you spend money on, be intentional about it. Because when you do it just off the cuff, you know, you ordered a dozen donuts and here's an extra one to go with it, you're going to end up giving away a lot more than you realize because you're not paying attention to your numbers, which is the next downfall. You got to know your numbers. Now, what numbers do you need to know? You're going to hear within the next 8 weeks, I'm sure, all kinds of numbers you need to know. But here's the ones I want to leave you with. And I don't think you will hear this anywhere else. You know, your P&L is important. That's very important. If you've got, if you're doing marketing funnels and knowing how many people you have in that, that's important. But here's what I want you to know. I want you to know the dollar value of each client. And we'll talk about how to figure that out. And I want you to know that for however it is you get people to you, how many of those you need to get to you to have one closed sale. So that's a formula depending on what business you're in and what method you're using to get the people to you and your level of expertise for getting them to you. But you need to know those two things. What is the dollar value of every client? So that's based on your sales. I knew my average sales price right before I retired was just over $800,000 for a house, which was way up at a time when the median price of homes was $500,000 or just over 5. The reason is because of the way that I worked with my clients. So that whole waiting list, that brought my dollar value up. So you need to figure out what are your average sales so you understand what the dollar value is of each client, and then know for sure how you get to a closed sale. Because not knowing that is going to be a time waster. It's going to be a money waster. Does it make sense to you? My assistant, God bless her, we had these conversations where I would say, "You're not the boss of me," and she'd go, "Right," because kind of she was. She knew if she looked on that board and there were not sales about to close or sales in the pipeline, she knew I needed to make 4 phone calls to find a transaction. We both knew that. And she would sit there and go, "Here you go, start dialing. You got people you need to call. You haven't checked in with these." We knew it with absolute certainty. You need to know that about your business. Any other questions you want me to answer? I'm going to go to a couple more things. Has this been helpful so far? Is it different than what you thought it was going to be? Here's the thing, like I said, when you've been in business, and trust me, I don't know everything. I learn things every day. So Malcolm Gladwell talks about, you've read the book about 10,000 hours of mastery. You need 10,000 hours to be a master at something? Well, I did the math, because I like math. And at my last calculation, I had over 87,000 hours of being an entrepreneur. I don't know if that's Uber master or what it is. I still trip up. I still need help. There are still things I don't know. And where do I go? I go to that tribe. And then the other thing I do, which is another obstacle that you've got to pay attention to, is I make sure that I keep my skills current. Dr. Langford said that already. She's like, no, I go to certifications. You have to keep your skills current. I don't care what it is you're doing, what businesses is that you're in. You need to keep learning. If you do not keep learning, here's what's going to happen. The people you serve will slowly start to trickle off to people who are still learning. And then you're going to think that it's because your prices are too high or they're not loyal. And then you're going to start bringing your prices down or having these specials so that you can bring more people in. And that's not going to work. And you're going to start this whole cycle. And then we've got this other failed business. Is that resonating with anybody? Keeping your skills current is so important. Any other questions? Let me make sure I'm not missing anything in the chat. All righty. I'm gonna come to a couple more things and we're gonna be time for questions. Oh my gosh, this time flew by. Whew. Lack of consistency. Now we talked about processes, touched on processes, but this is why processes are so important, is consistency. And let me say this about consistency. I'm not talking about doing something 100% of the time. We're human. Stuff happens. Things fall off the rails. Consistency is simply doing something more than not doing it. Does that make sense? Can you accept that definition of consistency? It's doing it more than you don't do it. One of my very best coaches always had a saying with me because she knows I could be sometimes inconsistent with stuff. And she says, Valerie, miss one day, don't miss two. Whatever it is. If it's exercise, if it's meditation, I mean, some days we just don't feel like it. It didn't fit, whatever, something happened. But if it's important to you, and if it's one of the foundations and pillars of your business, if you miss one day, don't miss two. How are we doing? Okay. Some of you are looking a little like, oh boy, this is a lot. That is wonderful. All right, so here are the last couple of things I want to share with you. Because we talked about keeping your skills fresh. We talked about knowing your value, having the right tribe, understanding that you have blind spots. We all have them. You need somebody to shine a spotlight on them. You need to be consistent. You need to manage your energy, not time, because you can't manage time. And you need to know why you're in business. Here's the other one. And then this is where I really failed. I'll tell you another story. I think we have 2 minutes again before we're going to start with questions. So I was, for the most of my parenting time, I was a single parent. And there are good things about that because I got to make all the decisions. I also had to make all the decisions. So there's two sides to that story, right? I have a wonderful son who is a very, very grown man. And we have a fabulous relationship. And he had the benefit of growing up with a mother who was running a business. So because I had not learned how to adequately manage my energy all the time, I wasn't consistent with it. I was working a lot of hours. I didn't put up good boundaries with my clients. I told them that I was available 24/7. How ridiculous is that? And this was back in the days of Day Planner, the story I'm going to tell you. So I had my planner and I put my appointments in there, and he would say to me, "Mom, am I in there somewhere?" Breaks your heart, right? Okay, so, but I felt like, you're a single mother. I'm not hanging out at the club. I'm working. I'm getting things done. I'm taking care of my child. I came home one evening from working late. I was on the West Coast. I'm a West Coaster. And at the time I lived in Seattle. And so it doesn't get late. I mean, it doesn't get dark there until in the summer, 10:30 at night. So I could show houses really late. I came in, there he was on the stairs. We had a 2-level townhome. There he was with a note pinned to him. And I need you to know this, full transparency. I usually can tell this story without crying. Okay, so I just prepared you. Okay, so there he was with this note pinned on him that said, "Please wake me when you get in. I just want to say goodnight." Right? Dr. Langford, what type of therapy is this you do? Because I may need to talk to you. So here's the other obstacle to those of us in business. And I'm going to really caution you to, of all the things we've talked about, pay particular attention to this one. It's that we don't take personal time. We're so busy working in our business and making things happen that we forget that there's a person running this business. And the best thing you can do for yourself is take a break and be intentional about it. Because what I would do is, if I didn't have a client between 4 and 7, I'd say I was taking time off because I just didn't happen to have a client to see at that time. That's not intentional, because then I was trying to make other things happen. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. Remember those numbers we talked about? Here's a few more for you. Commit to how many days a week you're going to work. And I want you to commit right now. How many days a week are you going to work? Now, there are seasons that you will have to work 7 days a week. I'm just going to tell you, that's just the way it is. You know, if you're Miss Hattie Mae and you're baking Thanksgiving pies, she's getting ready to be real busy, and she's going to be baking a whole lot of pies right now, but she can take some time off in December. But know how many days a week you're going to work. Also, know how many hours a day you're going to work. Set your hours. Remember those boundaries? Remember that ridiculous 24/7? I was working 7 days a week. You can always get me. I have beeper. Call me on the cell, whatever. That was ridiculous. I don't even have anything to give to you if I've been working 24/7. Now you're going to come and ask me to negotiate the sale of your home? No way. Or now you're going to ask me to come and speak to you about your most private challenges and concerns. And I've had no rest. I have no bandwidth to even hear it. That's not going to happen. Isis, where'd you go? Girl, if your hands are tired, it is not going to be a good massage.
Very, very true. If I don't take care of myself, I can't do nothing for them clients.
There you go. So know that this has to happen. Personal time. I hope this has been helpful. I hope you've taken something that you can put into your quiver for business. As you're moving forward, and you're putting things together, I want to make you aware of some resources that are here to help you. So, Erica, where are you, Erica? You're on here with me. Erica and I have, and it's really Erica who developed this, so I'm just helping. But as you're moving forward, you're going to need to put some structure into things. You're going to need to understand, we talked about who do you serve? How do you serve them? How do you know what your value is? There are strategic ways to put that plan together. And there is a full 4-week cohort that will help you do that succinctly. And it's called eSuite Entrepreneurs. So we will, I don't know, Colette, are we able to put that in the chat? Are we able to do that? Or do we want them to contact us or however?
Erica, could you put that in the chat, please?
Thank you, Erica. So if that is something that you feel, that structure you need in your business, and the beauty of it is it's small. You're working with other women who are working on their business. There's a hot seat every week, and you can tell I have no problem with putting people in the hot seat. But calling you out to help you really understand that from concept, and even if you've already gotten started, to the end of that cohort, you are up and running. You know what you're doing. You have addressed all of these obstacles. We would love to be able to serve you in that way. And it is all based on the lean startup modality. That said, what questions do you have? Do you have any bandwidth to ask questions? Have I totally left you like, oh my gosh. Okay, so there's someone over there with a hand up and it says you're a Zoom user, so I don't know your name. I'm sorry. Yes, you.
Hi, I'm sorry about that. My name is Camilla.
Hi, Camilla.
Hello. So my question is around how you were stating that essentially that everyone should build their skills, making sure they're current within the industry or however you're moving. But what if your industry or your business is more so, let's say, service operated, like a hair salon, but I'm not a stylist. So the way that I'm processing what you told us is make sure that the stylists are up to date or kind of in the trends and so forth. So is that the right thought process I should have? Just make sure everyone is sharp in whatever their skill set is within that
Whatever their
business.
skill set is, absolutely. As new products have come out, you need to know about those. New processes come out, you need to know about those. If you guys are still, what's that little mushroom do that we used to do like way back in the 90s? If you're still doing that at your shop, there's a problem, okay? So understanding, going to the hair shows, just really staying on top of what is new and fresh. Now, that does not mean you lose your foundation. Please don't hear me saying that. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that you understand what's new that can be offered so you keep their attention. Okay, yeah, so perfect. Any other questions? Let's see. Now, thank you, Erica. She's so funny. She's asking the question I was gonna ask. Oh, Anne, you have a question.
Yeah, going back to what you said in the very beginning for the foundation of every business, I'd love to hear if you have tips beyond like the standard market research about how to really understand that time and urgency to solve the problem, right? So you have the problem, you have the group, they may have the money, but that time and urgency, is there any tips and kind of how we do that research, how we are able to say, yes, they have the time and they have the money and they're going to put it to this problem?
Absolutely. It's kind of like we said before, you ask them. So the time and urgency part is not even really going to be a research question. It's going to be more of an intake question. Does that make sense? Because all of you should have some type of intake for the people you work with. Remember my little 20-point? I need to retype this thing too. It's going to fall apart. And I'm going to fool around and get the wrong people in my business. But you need to understand why they're coming to you. And that's a really good question. Why have you reached out to me? And they're going to tell you, well, here's the problem. Great. How motivated and how committed are you to addressing this? And they will tell you. And then because you know your business, you're going to know if that's in alignment. If they're just saying it or not, you'll actually know because you're the expert. Does that answer that? Okay, great. Okay, so here's a big question. Let's see, wait a minute, make sure I didn't miss any questions. These questions, let's see, I've changed portion. Surveys, yeah. Surveys are a good way to do this. Now okay, because surveys are interesting. They're necessary. When they're sent to an audience that you have not touched, so like, you're doing your marketing online or whatever, you have to be very careful of the questions you ask to be able to get the results from the survey that you need. Because most of the time, if you have a business that's online, you actually haven't built rapport with your clients and customers. So you don't know who they are. So you have to be really strategic in the questions that you ask. But surveys can definitely work. Hello there. I see another question over here. I'm sorry, tell me your name again. Your hand's up, Ms. Zoom user. Okay.
That was an accident.
That's all right. That's okay. Okay, Kathleen, were you waving at me that you had a question? Okay, all right, let's see. They're in the other. I'm looking for hands and I'm looking for questions. Let's see. Now,
Don't
here's my
forget to
question.
go back to your pitch question.
Yes, here's my question. Knowing now that it is so important to invest in professional development and in personal care, have any of you changed? What are you going to use this $1,000 for? Remember, we're up on stage in your nice, whatever it is you're wearing, your dress. For me, it's always going to be a 6-inch heel. You think I'm kidding, T? She's looking at me like, you don't have no 6-inch heel. Hold on a second, girl. Wait a minute. You see these?
Oh, gosh.
See, I may have on shorts because it's hot in here, but I'm gonna always have on some nice shoes, okay? So there you go. So we're all standing up there together because Colette, I want to be able to help present if I can. I'm just inviting myself. What are you using this money for? Has it changed? Have you had some ideas? Some different ideas, some different priorities? Are you looking at things differently? Anybody like to share if they've had a little shift? And maybe not. Maybe you're just like, no, I'm still getting furniture and that's what we get. And that's a good answer. But has anyone had maybe a shift? And feel free, because I'm going through, if you have, go ahead and unmute yourself.
I've had a slight shift. I would love to get clarity on the tangible problem, the specific group of people, to make sure that I am spending my time where I need to. And I think that is the missing piece. Everything else is locked and loaded. But that last little piece, if I could just know who that person is and find 1,000, 100,000, however many of that person,
yes, we're
on it.
There you go. Did you see what Erica said in the chat? She said she needs to be in the E-Suite. Yes, you do. Okay. And that's so, and Shelly, thank you. That is huge. That's a big part of it, because if you're trying to serve the wrong person, you are wasting your energy, your time. It's what causes frustration. It's what makes us feel in business like we're not doing well. It's because we're just talking to the wrong folks. That whole time and urgency thing also, if they don't have the urgency, if they don't have the time, talking to the wrong folks. That's it. And definitely if they don't have the money to pay you, girl, you need to go on about your business. And, you know, I have a philanthropy budget in my business because I speak. So there are certain places where I will speak for free. And not even when I said for free, I just heard my coach go, it's not for free. No. It's for some other reason. It's to be in front of a great audience. It's to be in front of these people. Then I'll do that. But you gotta be intentional about it. And you gotta know why you're doing it. We are at 8:30. I cannot believe our time together is over.
Woo, woo. Woo. Thank you, Valerie. Thank you, Valerie. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate all the, as y'all say, the nuggets of wisdom that you dropped today. How many of you all gleaned great information from Miss Valari Jackson today, this evening?
That's fantastic.
That's great. That's so great. So I would like, before you leave, if you wouldn't mind dropping your business, if you've started a business, dropping your business in the chat here.
Wonderful.
That would be appreciated. And I'm starting out the little technical piece. We're going to start on time next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, Chloe, who is on the agenda?
We have Jamise Pickney, building, branding.
Lord, you're in for
Thank
another treat.
Yes.
You're in for another treat. So I would say come prepared. It will be the same amount of time. So we're going to start on time. We're going to end on time. We're going to honor your time. Is there any last parting words that you want to know or need to know before we let you loose here? I have a question of you. Who here, by raising your hand, and this is not a trick, you're going for the pitch. You're going for that 1,000.
Oh yeah, you all have to go for it. Come on.
Some people raising their hand kind of slow. It's $1,000.
It's $1,000. Come on.
Oh, everybody have Christmas money? Okay. Yeah.
Right, I know, right?
Yeah, right. See?
Kathleen's like, I'll take it. Y'all don't want it. I got it. I have a reason for it.
So there's no obligation. I'm just letting you know there's no obligation. This is the inaugural event. And we would just want to make sure that you get the knowledge, but at the end, we want you to know that you're eligible to, by participating in all 8 classes, to go for the pitch. And believe it or not, you will be prepared to do that pitch by the time you get to class 8. And so, while you may have a fear, if you are going to go bigger, wider, faster, stronger, you're going to have to learn to talk before people and explain your business and why. I'm trying to go to the chat to what Valerie said at the very beginning here. At the very beginning, because that was
the definition again, Colette?
Yes.
Okay, yes. The foundation of business.
Yeah, the foundation of business
is to solve a tangible problem for a specific group of people who have the money to pay you and the time and the urgency to solve the problem.
So hint, 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 that may be a question on pitch day. That may be a question that you might need to answer on pitch day. I can't say it any slower. So
They're ready.
I know they're ready. They look ready. They look ready and they look hungry. So with that, I am going to bid you adieu.